Good day from the International Space Station Flight Control Room here at the Johnson Space Center in Houston. For the first time in the history of the International Space Station, two unpiloted cargo craft are inbound for arrivals at the International Outpost. The first of the two craft that is cruising in for a parking place at the International Space Station is the unpiloted Russian ISS Progress 64 cargo vehicle that launched 2 days ago from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan. Loaded with almost 3 tons of food, fuel, and supplies for the Expedition 48 crew, the ISS Progress 64 lifted off on Saturday afternoon U.S. time at 4:41 p.m. Central Time, 3:41 a.m. on Sunday morning at the Baikonur Cosmodrome. Less than 9 minutes after launch, the Progress was deposited into its preliminary orbit, its solar arrays and navigational antennas deployed as planned, and it embarked on what so far has been a flawless 2-day approach for an automated docking a short time from now to the Pirs docking compartment on the Earth-facing side of the Russian segment of the International Space Station. There is a view from the cross-haired engineering camera on the Progress vehicle as it is about 4 kilometers away from its destination on the Pirs docking compartment. At this hour, the International Space Station and Progress are flying at an altitude of 254 statute miles in an orbit inclined 51.6 degrees to either side of the equator, traveling from northwest to southeast, just passing off to the east of New Guinea. At this hour, about to begin a swing over the southern Pacific Ocean. The second of those two unpiloted craft, the SpaceX Dragon cargo craft, lifted off in the wee hours Monday from Cape Canaveral, Florida, the Cape Canaveral Air Force Station to be exact. The Dragon is inbound for an arrival on Wednesday morning at the International Space Station, where it will be captured by NASA Expedition 48 Commander Jeff Williams, backed up by flight engineer Kate Rubins of NASA, operating the Canadarm2 robotic arm. They will grapple the Dragon, and ground controllers then will take over and berth it, install it on the Earth-facing side of the Harmony module on the U.S. segment of the International Space Station. In all, some 5.5 tons of cargo to be delivered to the International Space Station within a 35-hour period. The International Space Station program parlayed a schedule of 2 cargo launches within 31 hours of each other and is about to cash in with the arrival of the first of those 2 craft, that being the ISS Progress 64. Here in the Space Station Flight Control Room at the Johnson Space Center, the Orbit 3 team of flight controllers is on duty at this hour. They are led by Flight Director Zeb Scoville, who is on duty. He is also to be the lead flight director for the spacewalk that is scheduled on August 18th, as is currently planned by Jeff Williams and Kate Rubins, to install the first of the international docking adapters that was launched early this morning aboard the SpaceX Dragon cargo craft, and which will be extracted from the trunk of Dragon robotically by ground controllers 2 days before that spacewalk. Scoville is joined on console this evening by spacecraft communicator Rebecca Wingfield, who is poised to talk to the International Space Station crew if required during the course of tonight's operations. Half a world away at the Russian Mission Control Center in Korolyov outside of Moscow. This view from the camera overlooking the cavernous flight control room there, as the Russian flight controllers watch carefully over the data that's coming in via a variety of sources from the Progress 64 craft as it slowly but surely closes the gap between itself and an automated docking to the Pirs docking compartment, with the link-up scheduled at 7:22 p.m. Central Time. Once docking occurs, the relative motion between the Progress and the International Space Station will have a few minutes to dampen out before the docking probe is retracted, and hooks will close on both sides of the docking interface to form a hard mate between the Progress and the Pirs docking compartment. There will be leak checks conducted later this evening, but the hatch to the Progress resupply vehicle will not be opened until Tuesday morning, when Alexei Ovchinin and Oleg Skripochka, two of the cosmonauts on board the International Space Station, open the hatch to the Progress and begin to unload its cache of cargo. That cargo breaks down to 1,940 pounds of propellant, 110 pounds of oxygen, 926 pounds of water, and 2,833 pounds of supplies and spare parts, some scientific research gear, a total of just under 3 tons of equipment and supplies, as well as fuel, being brought to the International Space Station by Progress 64.
It's done already. Thank you. I'm standing by for your go to activate the Toro mode. I copy, Alexei.
One extraordinary picture that was received on the ground from Expedition 48 Commander Jeff Williams showed the launch of the Progress 64 on Saturday, U.S. time. This was taken as the Progress was climbing uphill toward its preliminary orbit. Williams downlinked that photo and posted it on social media. Again, an extraordinary photo of the Progress 64 cargo craft that was launched on a Soyuz booster from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan. This picture taken as the Soyuz booster headed uphill from Baikonur, arcing out to the northeast from the launch site at the Baikonur Cosmodrome.
The range is 2 kilometers to 100 meters. The range rate 7.5 meters per second. Copy.
The Progress is now inside 2 kilometers away from the International Space Station. As is customary, once it arrives at a range of about 400 meters or 1,300 feet away from the space station, the Progress will begin an automated fly-around of the station. Tonight's fly-around angle for the Progress is about 56.5 degrees. That will properly align the Progress directly in line with the Pirs docking compartment port on the Earth-facing side of the Russian segment of the International Space Station for a period of a few minutes of station keeping to allow the Russian flight control team to evaluate the alignment of the Progress toward the docking port itself.
4.32 meters per second. Copy, Alexei.
And again, this view from the cross-haired engineering camera on the exterior of the Progress craft, showing the International Space Station at the center of those crosshairs in the lower left-hand corner of your screen. The 1.8 km, that's the kilometers, that's the distance right now between the Progress and the station. Just underneath it is the rate of closure, which at the moment is about 4 meters per second. At the time of contact and capture, scheduled at 7:22 p.m. Central Time, the Progress will arrive at the station for its automated docking at a very, very slow speed of just 1/10 of a meter per second.
Copy, in work.
This view from a high-definition external viewer camera on the outside of the International Space Station, showing one of the Russian vehicles docked to the Russian segment of the station as the International Outpost and its 6 crew members fly just to the east of Australia, about to begin a pass just north of Auckland, New Zealand.
Network activated, illuminated now, and the power LED also on. Copy. So what about the buttons? You have released all of them on POBPS? Alexei, how copy? Moscow Station on Space to Ground 1, how copy? Copy loud and clear. Alexei? I am ready to start raw rotational hand controller test. It's a go. Say again? Yes, it's a go. Copy. So I'm moving the raw down. So the neutral now is off. Now up, all LED on, neutral is off. Now to the right, all LEDs, all four of them are on, and neutral is off. To the left, all LED on, neutral is off. Now counterclockwise, 4 LED on, neutral is off. Now clockwise, 4 LEDs are on, neutral is off.
This conversation with the interpreter between the Russian flight control team in Korolyov and Alexei Ovchinin inside the Zvezda service module. He and Alex Gripochka are at the panel that operates the Toru system, the telerobotically operated rendezvous system. That's the manual rendezvous system that the two cosmonauts would take over control of in the unlikely event that a failure occurred with the Corps' automated rendezvous system. They would literally use a joystick to fly the Progress in for its docking to the Pirs docking compartment. But so far so good. All of the systems operating normally with the Progress as they have since its launch 2 days ago from Baikonur.
And all LEDs are on and neutral are off. I'm pushing the switch. LEDs are on, neutral is off.
And again, the crew on board the station and the International Space Station program parlaying a pair of cargo ship arrivals, the first time in history of the International Space Station that two unpiloted vehicles have been inbound for dockings or captures and berthings to the International Space Station, respectively, so close apart. At the same time, just 31 hours separated the launch of Progress and this morning's launch of the SpaceX Dragon cargo craft atop a Falcon 9 rocket from the Cape Canaveral Air Force Station in Florida. The Progress docking is scheduled just 35 hours before Expedition 48 Commander Jeff Williams and Flight Engineer Kate Rubins of NASA are to use the Canadarm2 robotic arm to capture the Dragon and turn over the operation for the maneuvering and installation of the Dragon cargo craft to the Earth-facing port of the Harmony module.
Try to play with it and to have a nice resolution. All right, thank you.
We're about 4 minutes away from the anticipated start of the fly-around of the Progress as it continues its trek under the automated guidance of the Corps' rendezvous system. Now just 760 meters away from its docking port at the Pirs docking compartment, which was launched in September of 2001, serving a dual role, both as a docking port for Russian vehicles arriving at the station and as an airlock for Russian-based spacewalks.
So, stand by. Well, Alex, it's better to stay on the second one. I think that's the best option because actually there will be more light during a final approach of the vehicle. Okay, now you have a go to deactivate the operation or Rabota mode. All right, then proceed on page 22, please.
The Progress is being commanded under a pre-programmed set of impulse burns, as they are called, small mid-course correction burns from its thrusters to more precisely align it for the fly-around and station keeping that is coming up in just a few minutes, the precursor to its final approach for contact and capture to the Pirs docking compartment.
And the range rate is 1.41 meters per second. Copy.
Progress now about 560 meters away from its destination.
Range is 495 meters and range rate is 1.33 meters per second. We copy.
At the time of docking, the International Space Station will be placed in what is known as free drift. All thrusters on the Russian segment of the station will be disabled to prevent any unintended perturbations while the relative motion between the Progress and the station has an opportunity to settle down, enabling the forward docking probe on the Progress to retract and for hooks to engage to form a hard mate between the two vehicles. About 400 meters now separating Progress and the Piers docking compartment.
Range is 390.
And we have confirmation now that the fly-around has begun. Again, this will be a 56-degree fly-around by the Progress to precisely align its forward docking probe with the Piers docking compartment. This maneuver should take about 4 minutes to complete. The Progress will put the brakes on for a short period of station keeping before flight controllers at the Russian Mission Control Center give the go-ahead for the resumption of final approach for contact and capture.
Range is 340 meters and range rate is 0.75 meters per second. Copy.
Based on current communications predictions, we're expecting a short loss of signal at about 7:16 p.m. Central Time for a few minutes until we reacquire a downlink television capability through the tracking and data relay satellite system. That resumption of communications should occur just before docking. And external cameras on the International Space Station picking up our first view of the Progress. A little more than 2 days after its launch from the Baikonur Cosmodrome, the cargo ship carrying almost 3 tons of food, fuel, and supplies closing in for its final approach for its link-up to the venerable Piers docking compartment.
Range is 260 and range rate is 0.52 meters per second. Copy. Range is 250 and range rate is 0.42, and I see the docking mechanism. Copy.
Progress 64 honing in on its destination at the Piers docking compartment. Currently flying over the South Pacific at an altitude of 254 statute miles.
Дальность 230 метров, скорость
230 meters, and range rate is 0.22 meters per second. We copy.
We should be approaching the period of station keeping a short time from now. All of the Progress systems have functioned flawlessly since its launch 2 days ago from Baikonur.
Pitch. I see the roll maneuver. Range is 220 meters, and range rate is 0.33 meters per second. We copy.
Дальность 210 метров.
Range is 210 meters, and range rate is 0.2 meters per second. We're continuing to perform the roll maneuver. We copy.
The roll maneuver aligns the Progress's solar arrays in the right orientation for the start of its final approach.
Наблюдаем разворот в обратную сторону.
And we see the roll maneuver continuing. The range is 205 meters, and 0.16 meters per second is range rate. We copy.
The approach rate of the Progress to the Piers docking compartment has almost been nulled.
Дальность около 200 метров, скорость.
And the range is about 200 meters. The range rate is 0.1 meters per second. We copy. Station.
And the visiting vehicle officer here in Mission Control reports that station keeping has begun. This will be a very brief period of systems checks by the Russian flight control team in Korolyov before the command is given to initiate final approach.
Send the command initial. Исходный. Initial. Copy. In work. We confirm station keeping, and we confirm that all LEDs are illuminated and have activated the Работа or operation command, and LEDs are illuminated. And so please transition to display 44. I am on display 44. External and internal LEDs are illuminated. Copy. We copy all station, and now please deactivate the operation Работа mode. And we have contact, confirm, причал, command, and Please continue monitoring the situation. Range is 180 meters.
And with everything checking out in good shape, the Progress has now initiated its final approach.
And please continue monitoring via VKU, please. Copy. And if you give us a go, I wanted to play with the AGC mode, if I can. Definitely, we were just about to tell you to use AGC mode. I have AGC mode activated, and I have operation mode on. Copy. And we have BPS initial, and operation mode is active. Copy. I am deactivating the operation mode. Copy.
Just 135 meters now separating Progress from the Piers docking compartment as the resupply craft and the International Space Station enter an orbital sunset over the South Pacific, approaching the west coast of South America.
So range is 123 meters, and range rate is 0.166 meters per second, and we are perfectly aligned with the axis of the docking mechanism. Copy. Range is 100 meters and range rate is 0.53. We are at the axis of the docking mechanism. We're perfectly aligned. Copy.
Aboard the Zvezda service module, cosmonauts Alexei Ovchinin and Alex Gripochka are looking at the same engineering overlay view that you've been enjoying as the Progress slowly but surely closes the final few meters for its contact and capture to the International Space Station, now just 83 meters separating the two craft.
Range rate is 0.41 meters per second. We copy. And Alexei, how do you see the docking interface? It's in the shadow. I don't see it clearly. And actually, we were about to suggest you use the AGC mode once again. Copy. I'll send the BPS initial command and then operation command and then AGC mode. Affirmative.
Flight controllers at the Russian Mission Control Center report a smooth approach by the Progress, everything proceeding in normal fashion. The current estimate is that we are expecting docking to occur up to about 2 minutes earlier than the current schedule.
That's what I'm doing. All right, so I return to that second notch with the translational hand controller. We copy, and the range rate is 52 meters, and range rate is 0.22 meters per second. We copy.
Again, under current predictions, we might lose our downlink television picture right before docking. Just 45 meters now separating Progress from the Piers docking compartment as it continues to glide in for its automated link up to the Piers. The docking mechanism has been powered up
Alexei, just a reminder, at the range of 30 meters, you need to activate the range BPS initial and also have the abort enabled. Copy. And could you tell me what you wanted me to do at the very end? We wanted you to activate BPS initial and then abort enabled and then leave the Robota operation mode on. Copy. And we are at the 40-meter range and range rate is 0.19. Electrical crosshairs are misaligned with the docking interface at about 0.5 degrees. So the misalignment is about 0.5 degrees. Copy. So now we're at 30 meters. I'm sending PO BPS initial. Copy. I'm activating the operation mode. I confirm LEDs are illuminated, and I'm sending the abort enabled command. Copy. And we're moving on to page 24. We copy all. You're on page 24.
And as expected, we've temporarily passed out of range of our tracking and data relay satellite system.
And Alexei, please continue reporting. We see the image. Visually, we're at 25 meters, and the range rate is about 0.15 meters per second. Copy.
Despite the loss of the television signal, everything proceeding on track as the progress is just about to inch inside the 20-meter mark.
5 degrees from the crosshairs of the real target. Copy. And we have the confirmation. Our antennae folded. Copy.
17 meters now separating progress from the piers.
And visually, the range is about 15 meters, so I'm about 4 squares away from the docking interface. We copy. All right, the size of the target is more than 1 square. We copy. And there is about 1 degree discrepancy between the crosshairs of the real target and the electronic crosshairs, and range is 10 meters. Copy. 10-meter range.
Progress ever so slowly moving in for its link up to the pier's docking compartment, about to move inside the 10-meter mark.
Crosshairs. The crosshairs are aligned. Copy. The size of the target is about 2 squares, 6-7 meter range, and the crosshairs are still aligned. Everything is still nominal. We copy. There is a slight misalignment between the real target crosshairs and the electronic crosshairs. Copy. And there is a slight pitch, a slight roll, and the size of the target is about 2.5 squares.
Just a few meters separating the two craft.
There is a slight misalignment of the electronic crosshairs with the target crosshairs. It's about 0.5 degrees. And range is about 1-2 meters. We're standing by for contact. The crosshairs are aligned.
Docking is imminent.
We're standing by for contact. Copy. Soft contact confirmed.
Contact and capture confirmed.
Mechanism engaged. Copy.
Docking confirmed at 7:20 p.m. Central Time as the International Space Station in Progress 64 flew 254 statute miles over Chile, just north of the capital of Santiago.
Probe retraction. The next 4 steps should be performed after that.
The docking probe is now driving and retracting to pull the Piers docking compartment interface closer in for the initiation of the hooks. Again, docking occurring at 7:20 p.m. Central Time as the Progress and the International Space Station passed over Chile just north of the capital of Santiago.
And I'm going to be sending the command to deactivate inaudible. And we're standing by for the retraction of the docking probe. It's going to be about 6-7 minutes. So after that, only after that, you can perform closeout operations. How copy, Alexei?
So one cargo ship is in port, another one is en route, that being the SpaceX Dragon cargo craft, which is about 35 hours away from being captured by the station crew members using the station's robotic arm. We're standing by for the docking probe to fully retract and for the hooks to close to form a hard mate between the two vehicles. And we have our downlink television capability back. This again, the engineering camera from the Progress.
Station Moscow, space to ground 1. Go ahead on space to ground 1, Moscow. Alexei, how copy? The closeout operations should be performed only after retraction of the docking probe. We copy. Closeout operations should be performed only after retraction of the docking probe. Affirmative, station.
So for the Progress 64, a textbook 2-day transit from the launch pad at the Baikonur Cosmodrome to its automated docking at the Piers docking compartment, standing by for hooks to close. This showing the current configuration now of the vehicles at the International Space Station. 2 piloted Soyuz vehicles at opposite sides of the Russian segment of the station. The Progress 63 cargo craft at the aft end of the Zvezda service module, and now Progress 64 newly arrived at the Piers docking compartment on the Earth-facing side of the Russian segment. Wednesday morning, 1 more cargo vehicle will be added to the mix as the SpaceX Dragon cargo craft is bolted into its port on the Earth-facing side of the Harmony module on the U.S. segment of the station. And we're told that hooks are now driving.
We have all electrical connections mated, and congratulations, guys. You have successfully docked the Progress vehicle. Well, thank you, Moscow. Thank you for being with us all the time.
Again, this view from a balcony camera overlooking the Russian flight control room in Korolyov outside Moscow as we stand by for confirmation of hooks closed. Once that's complete, there will be a period of leak checks at both sides of the docking interface between Progress and the Piers docking compartment, but the hatch to Progress is not scheduled to be opened until Tuesday morning. And we now have confirmation that the hooks are closed, completing the final chapter in the Progress's journey from the launch pad of the Baikonur Cosmodrome to its docking that occurred at 7:20 p.m. Central Time, 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time, as the two craft flew over Chile north of Santiago.